Your stage is about to be rocked. Get on your feet right now for this Sapphire National from Ohio, Brittney Mettke Powers.
Oh my God. I love you guys. All right. Let's center. I love you guys. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name's Brittney Mettke Powers, and I am truly honored to be speaking here this weekend. I have to be completely honest, though, I'm very nervous, especially that I was following Melissa Soti. Like, come on, seriously. But when I first got the invitation, my initial reaction was to decline. I don't know if you guys can relate to that. That imposter syndrome, that chatter in your head. No one wants to hear from me. I don't have anything to offer. So-and-so would have been a much better choice. That's the voice of doubt that I think we all can struggle with at sometimes. But here I am. Because I've learned to quiet that chatter, and I learned and recognized that growth only comes from facing fears, taking daily actions, and dreaming big, even when it's terrifying and super scary. So, I've thought a lot about what I hope everyone takes away from my time on stage, and when this is over, what message that I really want to resonate with each and every person here. And I think that if there's one thing I hope you take away from hearing my story, that it's, wow, if Brittney could do this, if Brittney is where she is in life, I can do it too. And I truly believe that to my core for each and every one of you. So let me take you on a little journey through my life and what built me into the person that you see in front of you today. I had a pretty normal family life for the most part. Oh yeah, I was like, what? Both of my parents were in the Army, and we moved around a lot. We are a middle-class family, and I'm one of four. I have three brothers. Any only girls out there? It's crazy. In elementary and middle school, I excelled academically. I was in gifted programs. I played a lot of sports. My favorites were dance, cheerleading, and softball. And our last planned move was from Alabama. My mom retired and my dad retired, and we were told that that was going to be our last and final stop. I felt planted. I felt comfortable. I was thriving, and I had so many friends. So I think you can imagine the surprise and the devastation when I was walking home from the bus in school, and there was a for sale sign in our yard. My dad had taken a big promotion with his new job, and we were moving from Missouri. We were going to move to Missouri in the middle of the school year. And that move was particularly hard for several reasons, but one was softball wasn't as valued as it was in Alabama, and I was like an all-star, and I was a starter on the varsity team, and they didn't even have it in school. And I had to adapt to being the new kid again in a place where many were grown up and they were with each other their entire lives. And that was really, really hard. I stopped all sports and kind of lost interest in school, period, before my 10th grade year. I started partying, drinking, and hanging out with the wrong crowd just to fit in, really. My circle mattered, and I picked the wrong one just to fit in, really, at that time. I think we often hear that our circle matters, but I have a lot of evidence to really prove that throughout my entire life. So the summer before my senior year, I actually had my first major run-in with law enforcement, And I ended up in this residential center for teens with behavioral issues and addiction and mental health. I attended my first 12-step recovery meeting at 17 years old. It was a smoky room with 50 and 60-year-old men, and it was just like really, really weird for me. Well, I turned 18 while I was there, and I aged out, and we talked with my parents, and we decided instead of me going back to high school to those people and places that I would drop out and get a GED instead of going back to school. So I was a high school dropout. Dropping out of high school with only 2 credits left, fine arts and PE, is probably one of my biggest regrets to this day. I remember watching my high school graduation that was playing on a local station, and it was very emotional, lots of tears, and it was really big because I went to school with all those people. So after my supposed-to-be graduation, my dad got another big promotion, and we moved to Columbus, Ohio. Yeah. And I thought this was going to be my fresh start. This was it. But I quickly learned that you can't run away from your issues, and you take yourself with you wherever you go. I swiftly found the wrong crowd again, and my harmless partying escalated into very heavy drug use. Within a year, I was in rehab again. The next 5 years were a really classic progression of addiction, a revolving door of treatment centers, and it actually led me to IV heroin and crack cocaine. But even at that time, I remember dreaming about what life could be outside of addiction. I remember before one of my detox days, I was packing up my bags because they had a bed, and they called me and said it was ready. And while I was packing up, I just was like, oh my gosh, what would life be if I wasn't chained to the dope? Could I get a job? Could I leave the city? Would my parents let me back in their life? Could I get stable housing? I was always a dreamer, and that motivated me to have moments of clarity where I'd make big and scary choices. Hope is a very powerful emotion. Sadly, that wasn't the time. I wasn't ready, and I actually found myself homeless on the streets of Columbus. I was stealing and doing other things to support my drug habit, and I was frequently in and out of jail. My life was so chaotic at that point. I didn't have any type of daily action or goals except to not be dope sick, not feel the withdrawal each and every day. That was it. I couldn't think of next year, next week, because it's like, what did I need to do that day to survive that day? And I was just surviving. I wasn't living. I was the Walking Dead, a zombie. There was one day, August 2009, where I decided that I was just done trying the in and out. I was hopeless. I was exhausted. I was broken. I was tired of letting everyone else down in my life, and I was killing myself. I had a $400 check that I was supposed to pick up that day, and I decided that that was going to be the last day that I would be alive. I got on the cell phone, and I drafted text messages to my mom and my dad, just telling them how sorry I was, but I was tired, and I didn't want to keep hurting them and having them worried about me. I was just tired. I called to see if my check was ready and to pick up, and I called my drug dealer to make sure he had it. And my plan was to get enough drugs that day that I would just go to sleep and wake up, and not wake up. I'd overdosed many times, and they had Narcan, and my plan was to just not have the Narcan. But instead, I heard a scary bang on the door. If you're familiar at all with the police knock, doom, 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 doom. That's what it was. It went away. I got out of the closet that I was hiding in, midway, about to get dressed, and U.S. Marshals busted in screaming, "Brittney Mettke, we did it," and I was like, whoa. They had felony warrants, and they got me. And I wasn't arrested, though. I was rescued. They saved my life. So, I was in jail, which is actually about 15 minutes away from here. And I went through the most severe cold turkey withdrawal on the floor of the mat of that county jail that I'd ever experienced. It was completely humbling, and I waited my fate. I had violated probation one too many times, and my probation officer was recommending that I do prison time. And it was 7 years in prison I was looking at, and I was 24 years old. Here's the thing, though. I made a decision that whether I got another chance at freedom or life, or if I went to prison for 7 years, that I was done no matter what. And I felt more free in jail than I had in years of addiction. And I started to dream from jail, and I made plans on what my life would be like without being chained to the heroin, and I was okay with whatever happened. And I waited about 4 to 5 months with no bail to go in front of the judge. And that judge looked at everything, all the violations and stuff, and that I was on the run and all that stuff. And he looked at me, and he decided that I should get another chance. And sometimes that's what it takes, someone outside to believe in us more than we can believe in us. And he said, "Brittney, I see you, I look at you, and I know you have potential. My hope is that you can stop using drugs and do something amazing with your life." And those words ring in my head almost every single day, years later. So I leave jail, I go to the halfway house, I get my job back at Red Lobster, and I actually graduated early from the halfway house for good behavior, and I applied everything that I had learned in rehabs over the years on staying clean and working really, really hard. And I made sure that I surrounded myself with people that were making good choices. When I was 6 months clean, I actually found out I was pregnant with my oldest, my daughter. I was, at that time, living in a bedroom at my mom's house, and I brought home my little Rhea Hope, that's her name, to a bassinet by that bed. But I was dreaming of bigger things for us. I dreamt of us having our own place and what that would look like. I worked really hard as a single mom, and eventually I got us our own apartment before she was a year old, and that was really, really big for us. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit now. Fast forward, and it's like now late 2016, and I have 3 children, and I'm pregnant with my youngest. I have been working at Red Lobster for a long time, working really hard, and I had big goals, though. That server and that bartender life, and missing so many moments with my kids, and I was still struggling financially, and we were on all the government assistance possible. I was actually given the opportunity to become a manager. And as a high school dropout with 7 convicted felons, that was a dream, a huge thing for me. I was gonna have a set schedule, I'd have paid time off, I'd have medical insurance for our family, and I'd have a salary of $60,000 a year, which could have been $60 million at that point. That felt like a dream to me, and I was so excited. And I dreamt of what life would look like with that new position, and that I'd be a mom that would make my kids proud. I did everything to prepare. I took all the tests and the assessments, and I dug in, and I passed the drug screens. And my current manager, he was giving me more responsibilities and teaching me the things while we waited to hear back when my official management training would start from corporate. It was a rainy day right before the holidays, and my phone rings and it says Orlando, and I'm like, this is it, we're about to start, we're gonna find it out. And I was like so excited again. And I answer and I hear, "Hey, Brittney, this is Samantha from corporate. Because of going over your stuff, the legal team has decided not to move forward with you. Your past convictions. I'm so sorry. We really appreciate all the great work you're doing. Oh, and have a good holiday." Click. I was crushed, devastated, honestly. At that point in my life, those charges were close to a decade old, and I had worked so hard to change everything, and I was doing what everyone told me that I should do, and I felt so hopeless. Probably as hopeless that I had felt many times in addiction, even more, because I'm like, I got clean for this? Like, I clung to my circle at that time a lot. And I knew that that would not be the end of my story. So now it's early 2017, I'm on maternity leave, and I get invited to this online party, no idea what it was, but they're selling these colorful leggings, and I'm like, and that's what led me to direct sales. I had no idea what it was. And I decided that's how you start a boutique. I'm gonna start a boutique, and I jumped in. And I was so excited, and I saw quick success, so I decided that that was gonna be my full-time job, and I was not gonna go back to Red Lobster. But a month into that, I stumbled upon these, I don't know if you guys heard of them, these nail polish strips, Color Street. Like literally a month in. And I saw the potential in the product that wowed me, and I saw the potential in the opportunity. And because I was broke from that other business, I borrowed money from my mom, and I bought the starter kit, and I joined Color Street. I stumbled here. And I started to dream again. I had absolutely no clue what I was doing when I started this business. No clue. I had no experience, no education, no training. I wasn't an influencer. I was a high school dropout. In fact, I only had 200 friends on Facebook. When I was posting all those cringy things on social media, I had no idea how that worked. But I would watch these YouTube videos of these people in different companies that were like taking these trips and doing all these things, and they were financially secure, and I was like, I want to be like them. I'm going to be like them. And I dug in, and I surrounded myself with people who also had the same similar goals. They were positive, and we were doing it together. And through Color Street, I found financial stability and independence from my parents and government assistance and all of that. That $60,000 a year income I dreamt about of being a manager at Red Lobster, by year 2, I saw that in a month here. I didn't need food stamps or Medicaid anymore. All 6 of us were in this 2 small bedroom rented condo, and I was able to purchase a 5-bedroom home where we all have our own space. I started, you guys know, you can work from anywhere, but I was forced, like my office was like in my bed or wherever I could, so it was like a big dream to have my own home office, and I have my own home office. And I honestly still feel every single day that I'm living in a dream. Like when I'm driving in through our neighborhood, pulling in, I'm like, wait, what, we live here? Like security's not gonna come like out and get us? Like it's still every single day I think of that. My first passport stamps and travel are all because of Color Street, and I couldn't even leave Columbus for years. My children, who had never been on a plane, they now have experiences and opportunities that I could only dream of for them. But a big thing for me was in the summer of 2020, I was actually able to hire an attorney, and he got all 7 of my felonies expunged. And no one ever can use those against me, and no one will ever know unless I decide to share that part of my story, because those made things so hard. You know, I get to go to their classes, their field trips, and I have 2 children that are special needs, and they have so many appointments, and I know there's no way I could keep a job getting them to their therapies and stuff. I get to show up for them in ways that I would never have been able to before. It's important. In 2018, I reconnected with my best friend, Jerry, and he is a huge supporter of my business and me. We got married in 2020, surrounded by my friends and family, many of who I know through Color Street. And when I've said my circle matters, my husband is an example of that to its core. I would not be able to accomplish close to what I have without his unwavering support in all areas. And listen, I know what it's like to be married to someone who laughs at your dreams. It doesn't help. If your circle laughs at your dreams, it's time to get a new one. But even in business, there are ups and there's challenges. It will go up and it will go down. One thing that comes to me is I had a very, very close friend and top leader. She left, crumbled a leg, and it was a friendship in the business, and it was rebuilding, and it was hard. But I made the decision, I dug in, I connected with everyone, we made a plan, and we continued because we love Color Street, so we're gonna sell, and we're gonna enroll, and we're gonna make it happen. I kept to my personal business and daily business. That was really a priority to me too, to just keep it exciting. Color Street was definitely my vehicle to get out, but I had to show up every single day for it. Not just on the good days. So what we do in the mountaintop often reflects to what we do in the valley. Just like I had to for my recovery, I had to show up and work my business one day at a time, and I actually want to share with you guys some of the things that I commit to doing each and every day, no excuses, no matter what. Success in life, in business, it comes from consistent daily actions. So here are 3 things that you can do every single day to enhance both your business and your life. Consistent outreach and networking. Dedicate time each day to connect with potential customers and team members. Building relationships is key to growing your customer base. And this can look like things like following up, giving samples, posting a video or story on my personal, not via personal page, or TikToks or whatever. I have to meet new people to continue to grow. Remember, 200 friends on Facebook. I would not be here if I wasn't meeting new people every single day. It's about the new. 2, personal development. Invest in your personal growth and skills every single day. Continuous learning keeps you motivated, informed, and better equipped to handle challenges. I know for a fact that my personal development has helped me face problems head on when I've seen it make other people just freeze and feel hopeless. Corporate has a training that I can tune into almost every single day, or watch a replay, read a chapter in a book, listen to a podcast while you're driving the doctor's appointment. Learn something every day. We've never, ever arrived. We need reminders. It's just so important. And 3, self-care and mindset maintenance. Prioritize self-care every single day to maintain a positive mindset and energy levels. Think about the people you're around, person or virtual. Your circle matters, right? Are they helping you to be better? Are they helping you to be bitter? I've left many a group chats and groups and situations to just help protect my mindset and my vibe and my energy, and that's okay. Everyone's in different places. And every single day, I write a gratitude list because it really helps me keep things in perspective, like focusing on like what's really a real big deal, because it's easy to get stuck on things that might feel like, what am I grateful for today? And then I also do a reflection list. What did I learn today? What made me happy today? What is something I could have done better today? A healthy mindset and well-being, I would say, is very important and probably even the key to long-term success. I say that about mindset. If you incorporate these practices into your daily routine, you'll not only enhance your business, but also just your overall quality of life, honestly. Skills that have helped me in my life and my recovery have 100% transferred over to help me be successful in this business. So like I said, I don't have any special education, influence, or any of that. I don't quit. I find a way, even when it's hard. I show up on good days, and I show up on bad days. I surround myself with like-minded people who are driven and also very solution-minded, those that don't put a timeline on success, but know they're gonna keep doing it until we're gonna figure it out. I dream big. That's helped me, and I encourage everyone around me to dream big too, because I had to have someone believe in me. We don't have to play small anymore. Life and business is gonna have its ups and downs. That's the only thing that's guaranteed. I think we've heard that. And it's important to create habits and routines that become daily so it becomes natural. It doesn't feel like work, it's natural. You can't beat someone who doesn't give up. You can't. I really want to thank you guys for listening to me, because I'm going to tell you, if anyone had reasons or excuses to quit, give up, had roadblocks and obstacles, and made things feel totally, utterly impossible, where I was on the floor hopeless, it was me. And if I can do it, you all can do it. So, let's go do it. Let's go out there, dream big, and make amazing things happen.
How was that? Another round of applause for Brittney Mettke Powers. Thank you, Brittney, for sharing your story. You know, I love when you talked about each of those tough situations she was in. She had a goal. She was dreaming. She still had that dream. She held on to that dream, and she knew where it could take her. Thanks for your example and all that you do for Color Street, Brittney. One thing I've come to love about Brittney, she's so outgoing and naturally becomes the spokesperson for not just her team, but for many of the leaders, the gemstones, and others who lean on her to escalate questions and get information that's needed, right? And she's a great example. She's so willing to help all stylists and bridge gaps to share information and ensure everyone is set up for success. Thanks again. Speaking of stories, that was an amazing story.